Hey everybody, welcome back to the Highland Fox. And today we're going to try our best not to cry.
So today we're talking about the Monaco Grand Prix. This is, I think, one of the most iconic race events in the world. It was featured in Iron Man 2, Tony Stark driving on that Monaco streetway. So I think this is like one of the icons of racing.
It's in James Bond. It's in like every movie ever. Like anyone knows the country of Monaco because of this. Yeah. And I understand, like, if your driver doesn't do well, it's the most boring race in the calendar.
Yeah, so this was a banger of 2 laps out of 78. Other than that, it was
a parade.
Kind of a parade of very expensive race cars next to the billion-dollar yachts. So, you know, a lot of flash, glory. But the first lap and like the last 2 laps, I thought were like, ooh, yay.
Yeah. But I think what you alluded to there is the money and all the pomp, I think is why this race will never get off the calendar. I like it. I understand it's not really a race, but I think the technicality of like how hard it is to drive through, I'm okay with one race out of 24 not being great. I know I'm probably one of 3 people in the world that thinks that. Everyone else wants it off the calendar, but we'll see.
I think there's just so much history here.
Yeah.
And like, yes, I do understand it's boring. And like last year I was like, ugh, you know, but I think it is so just iconic and historic and beautiful. And I love the track. And I think there's ways that could change it up, but that's like a whole nother video. So let's get into it. All right. Actually, let's just go for it.
Yeah.
What happened?
What
happened?
Charles Leclerc, Monegasque, from Monaco, took the bus at the pit start finish lane, went to school at the casino, right? Wins. He's the first Monegasque to win in 93 years and the first one to win in the championship era. Tears. Just all tears.
Literal tears, chills, everything.
Everything.
Like
the commentary for when he was crossing the line was great. If you watch it in other languages, it was great.
I know. Who were we listening to? Was it Italian?
It was an Italian radio.
Italian radio. Like, we were crying. No idea what was being said. We found out with subtitles later.
Yeah.
But, like, just the passion behind what they were screaming.
Yeah.
I was like,
oh, it's his home race. He's had such terrible luck in F2 and F1 here. He's been on pole twice and he's gotten it taken away from him.
Yeah. I mean, he's been racing here since 17.
17.
And he has come close way too many times. Yeah. And this was a beautiful drive. This was a fantastic weekend for him.
Yep.
You know how they do those winners, losers of each race? This was hands down a beauty to Charles Leclerc.
Yeah. Not only has he deserved to win in the last couple of years, he's raced well. Ferrari's kind of messed him up. You know, Sainz was there to back him up. So that whole teammate thing. So I'm not looking forward to Drive to Survive to be like, they hate each other. When Leclerc helped him win Australia, Sainz helped him win Monaco. But that's a different video as well. But just, you know, again, watching how much it meant to him and him jumping in the harbor and the Prince of Monaco spraying him with champagne and crying, a grown royalty crying, watching a 26-year-old sing the Monegasque national anthem. It was everything you want in sports.
Well, I think when your country is the size of like
track,
a city, that like, and you were raised there, that I don't know, that there's something special. So this was a definite moment to remember. This was just
I think
amazing.
It's smaller than the Vatican. I'm not sure on that. Somebody quote me or comment down below, but I think it's smaller than the Vatican.
It could be.
Yeah, it's only the track basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just, this is why you watch sports. Even if you're not a Leclerc fan, you're not a Ferrari fan, you're not a Monaco fan. You know, it's like a couple weeks ago when Norris won, right? Like, that's why you watch sports, or for those passion moments, jumping in the harbor. Yeah. You know, that's why we watch.
Yeah. The last 3 laps, he got really far ahead.
While he was crying.
Tried crying while doing 200 miles an hour. Good job.
In city streets.
But he just had a fantastic race. And, like, I think Piastri was on Leclerc for that first, like, third of the race. I want to say that he had DRS on him for most of the time. But Charles had a really good race. I think he had new hard tires where Piastri had a little used. So that I think that's probably why.
So that's a perfect lead in. Let's explain why hard tires were on those cars for 77 laps.
So Race starts. Did you want to add something?
I was just gonna ask, like, but Lindsay, I thought they have to pit stop.
That's usually the only exciting part of Monaco. So they didn't have to pit because on lap number 1, we have a little bit of chaos magic happening.
3 different accidents on lap 1.
So, it was a turn, but like turn 1, Piastri and Sainz, 2 and 3, boop, puncture to number 3 Sainz.
Sainz is sparking, going off in the runoff. His race is over.
Race is over. We got a yellow flag immediately. What we don't see in the way back is Kevin Magnussen, who's starting in the back. I think he was 19th.
Well, the reason he was starting in the back was because Haas got disqualified for the rear wing. So they had both Haas's had to start 19th and 20th. And then Checo, for whatever reason, is terrible. He was starting 16th.
Yeah.
He didn't make out a Q1, so he's not where he should be.
Yeah.
So you have 2 Haas's and a Red Bull.
And Kevin Magnussen touches the wall, tries to see a gap in between wall and Perez.
Yeah, which there was not a gap.
There's not really a gap.
Nope.
Hits wall, hits Perez, takes Perez out. Holy cannoli. If that safety cell,
oh my God.
I don't know.
That's the only thing that survived was the monocoque.
Yeah, the entire car was gone except him.
Yeah, basically.
I don't know. A few years ago, this would have been a very, I think, different story.
Right.
So, congrats to every engineer on this car. But Kevin Magnussen took out Perez, who then also hit Nico Hülkenberg.
Yep.
So, both Haas's and a Red Bull are out.
Yep.
So 2 things that we saw immediately, like not even the turn.
Yeah,
they
turn 1.
Turned yet.
So Sainz has already got a puncture. He's in 2nd though, or 3rd. So he's already sparking while 19, 20 go through. They collide, so they're blowing up in the back.
So that's done. But because that accident happened, we were able to red flag.
Well, we're missing the last accident.
Oh my gosh. Jeez. Okay.
So before they wave the red flag, like moments before they wave the red flag, Ocon goes for a pass on Gasly that again was not there and launches himself like 5-6 feet in the air and just lands super hard, damages Gasly's car a little bit, completely wrecks his car. So Ocon's out, they're teammates, and then they wave the red flag, and it was just
that's it. So everyone
chaos.
hit then during the red flag, and then most people ran hards. Few pits there during the race, but like overall, everyone just ran on a set of hard tires. No one had to pit stop. It was a parade of cars.
Yeah.
So the Ocon Gasly crash between the 2 Alpine drivers, I think, is definitely going to cause some.
One of them is leaving the team at the end of the year. I would almost guarantee.
Yeah, I don't know what Ocon was thinking. It was an aggressive move. I think it was kind of unnecessary. I don't know where he was going.
He was going the same place Kevin was going. Into the garage.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Any way you look at it, I just didn't see what his point was other than to try to get up one on Gasly. It just looked very bad.
Yeah.
And so the stewards thought so too because he has a 10-second.
Which turned into like a 5-place grid penalty, I think. Kevin Magnussen somehow got away with no penalty.
Yeah, racing incident for that crash.
I can kind of understand, but Kevin Magnussen has a lot of penalties already, so he should have backed out.
10 penalty points already, right?
Most people think he shouldn't be racing in Canada next week. 12 penalty points and you're suspended for a race.
Yeah.
I get it. It's dangerous in Monaco.
It looked bad.
And you could have killed Perez. Like, not jokingly, dramatically.
No.
Like, I don't know how Perez survived.
No, so that one looked awful. And then Ocon, I think he deserved some points because I
think he got 2.
There was no reason. I don't know. It just was unnecessary for what he was trying to do. Just no.
Yeah. So under the red flag, you can get a free pit stop. So that's when everyone put on their hards. So there's no more pit stops needed. We had to run 77 laps on hards. So everyone was going like snail's pace to not ruin the tires. And you can't pass on Monaco. So it literally was a parade, which is unique.
So
But everyone got fixed up, and then the race happened.
And so race is on tires that you need to stretch, so you can't go as fast, you can't push them as much. And that's how we got this year's Monaco. So kind of boring in the entire part, except for
The first lap.
The first lap. And then the last two where everyone is emotional. People are like, oh, Leclerc, trying to jinx him. And I was like, everyone just stop talking until he crosses the line. So overall, I think this was a memorable race. I am not saying good, though.
All of this to say that none of this takes away from Leclerc. He did his work. He was fastest FP2, FP3.
Yeah, he had great.
He ran a perfect race. Even then, he was the one slowing everything up. You know, sometimes he can get antsy, like in France. We all have nightmares about him screaming no into the radio. But he ran the perfect race. He didn't let the pressure of his hometown get to him this time. Executed to the well. So, boring race doesn't take away from Leclerc's excitement.
Yeah. So, I will remember this, like, probably forever. It was just so much emotion. I loved it.
Yeah, it was awesome. But what also makes this exciting is Sergio got out, so that's 0 points for Red Bull. Ferrari got a 1-3. McLaren got a 2-4. And Verstappen, I think it's the first podcast ever we haven't mentioned him, 6th.
So that's his lowest so far.
Since 2022.
Wow. So what we're trying to get at here, we still think Max is going to win the championship.
Yes. He's 31 points ahead of Leclerc, and I still think he wins the title.
But do you think that this makes the Constructors' Cup a little bit closer?
I do. Ferrari's 24 points behind Red Bull, and I would take Sainz and Leclerc in a Ferrari over Perez in a Red Bull every day.
I think a lot of people would probably take that.
But that's my point, right? So now you have Max fighting two Ferraris.
And McLaren's looking good.
And you get them on some real tracks.
Looking good.
Would you take Norris and Piastri over Perez?
Probably.
Because you get both of them for one driver.
Yeah, so that's like, you got four cars.
Against Verstappen.
Yeah. Because Perez is good, but he's so inconsistent this year.
Yeah.
And like, there's certain tracks that he just doesn't do good on.
Like this one.
And Imola.
Oh yeah, Imola. He was nowhere to be found.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't know. I think Max still has it, but I don't know. I think
there's a three-way fight for the constructor. Yeah. Which is exciting. You watched our first video when they won 1-2 by 40 seconds in Bahrain. Mm-hmm. And we were like, maybe someone will get third.
Yeah, so now I'm eating my words, and I am here for it.
Yeah, this should be a good season. Yeah, with McLaren getting upgrades, Ferrari getting upgrades, we're back to normal tracks. You know, Monaco's behind us. We could see some excitement. Yeah. Or we could go to Canada in 2 weeks, and then it's a 1-2 by 40 seconds again, and then we're like, never mind, Red Bull all the way.
Yeah.
But
I'm jazzed, though.
Yeah, jazzed. Constructors Championship is back on. We'll see you guys in Canada in 2 weeks.